wasted. My mother bore me with labor and pain, and fear by my body I invoke thee. About me shine the diamonds of radiance, white and pure. By their brightness mine is the head of the six I bear the rose and cross of life and life. Giving the sign and each remaining in the sign, the invocation concludes. Therefore I say unto thee, come thou forth and dwell in me, so that every spirit, whether of the firmament, or of the ether, or of the earth, or under the earth, on dry land, or in the ether, of rolling air, or of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God, the vast one might be. Mine is the head of the hawk, I bear the rose and cross of life and life. In the sign, the invocation to therefore I say unto thee, thou wilt be dwell in me, so that every spirit, whether of the firmament, or of the ether, or of the earth, or of the fire, on dry land, or in the water, and the sign, the invocation concludes. Therefore I say unto thee, come thou forth and dwell in me, so that every spirit, whether of the firmament, or of the ether, or of the earth, or under the earth, on dry land or in the water, of whirling air or of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God, the vast one, might be mine is the head of the hawk, abracadabra, and ends. 6. I bear the rose and cross of life and light. Hearing the sign, teach abracadabra. Remaining in the sign, the invocation concludes. Therefore I say unto thee, come thou forth and dwell in me, so that every spirit, whether of the firmament, or of the ether, or of the earth, or under the earth, on dry land, or in the water, or whirling air, or of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God, the vast one, might be abracadabra. You came like dawn in my hands, soft but stronger than I knew. My fear turned gold in your eyes, and my whole night broken too. I was lost in the noise, now I'm learning how to stay close to your quiet light in the middle of the day. Stop thinking, let it fall. Take the deepest breath of them all. Hold it close. Don't run from the feeling. One more second. You can start believing. Wisdom of God. but stronger than I knew. The fear turned gold in your eyes, and my old night broke in two. I was lost in the noise, now I'm learning how to stay close to your quiet light. In the middle of the day, stop thinking, let it fall. Take the deepest breath of them all. Hold it close, don't run from the feeling. One more second, you can start believing. Wisdom of God, now it's joy. Wisdom of God, now it's love. Wisdom of God, my heart is open. Wisdom of God, I rise above. Hold, let it go, go, go. You are the answer I needed to know. Your touch is a steady rain on the dust of who I was. Every wound gets named, then it fades in the hush. I don't need 1,000 signs when your name is in my chest. One deep breath, one brave step, and the rest can be blessed. I'm thinking. Let it fall. Take the deepest breath of them all. Hold it close, don't run from the feeling. One more second, you can start believing. Wisdom of God, now it's joy. Wisdom of God, now it's love. Wisdom of God, my heart is open. Wisdom of God, rise above. Let it go, go, go. You are the answer I needed to know. If I tremble, stay near. If I break, pull me through. Teach my hands to release what I cannot hold with you. Tonight, I breathe in your holy cold, and the storm in my head lays down like a pond. Wisdom of God, now it's joy. Wisdom of God, now it's love. Wisdom of God, my heart is open. Wisdom of God, I rise above. Let it go, go, go. You are the answer I needed to know. Wisdom of God, now it's love. Wisdom of God, I'm yours. Wisdom of God is now joy of heart, enlightenment. You found me in the quiet, with my hands still shaking. I was carrying the hurt like a name I couldn't drop. Then you touched my trouble, and the whole room stopped. Stop thinking and your problems. Take the deepest breath of the day. All for 10, not 11. 10, not 9. Stay. Then you touched my trouble, and the whole room stopped. Stop thinking, and your problems take the deepest breath of the day. Hold for 10, not 11, 10, not 9, stay.
relationships didn't work out, but we at least had that conversation.
Exactly. It starts with the conversation. You notice
how what you said. This is one of the things I really believe, that a lot of people go into situation, and clearly we only get what we accept. Okay. You hanging out with somebody, you guys tell me the sex is good, but this person is not good enough for you to give her your last name, or for the woman to say, I want to give you children. To me, that's a dangerous place to be, because guys, we think life is long. It's not. It's really short, guys. And why do I want to invest my life with someone that I know that I'm not going to be with, and I know they really don't want to be with me? They're just hanging out until something better comes along. And to me, that's scary.
Yeah. I could be wrong, but I really think that the only time I've seen situationships going for a long time is just from fear. Wherever the fear is, I just don't see any other reason why, if it doesn't stem from like that being the root.
That's why I was saying earlier, you'll know right away, usually. Well, sometimes. And someone was saying this, the younger you get married, potentially, the stronger you work through some of your bonds. Like, say you do go to college, but you get married, someone gets a job as a mechanic. You know the struggles. They'll move from here to there. Like, you'll learn and you'll grow through each of those things, and you'll see successful people adapt as they change careers. Because if you don't do it together, it's tough, because you might be set in your ways, you're in your 30s, you're ready to settle down, but you should have probably already settled down and got married, and maybe had a kid, maybe not. It just depends on your situation. But by the time you settle down, you would have had a future, and you could change jobs, you could change where you live, you might sell one house to move. You'll learn the financial struggles together, and the more you learn together, the more you grow together, I think. The sooner.
Well, Clubhouse.
Hold on, DJ. Hold on. Do you know how many careers and opportunities I've got in life around the world because I'm married? I'm in debt here, right? I can go to meetings and have opportunities with companies. And because I'm married, they look at me a lot more serious than someone that's transient or someone that's not going to be around. They know that I have a commitment to a wife when I was younger with kids and a home. They knew I wasn't going to be some fly-by-night person. They want to commit to someone that's already made a commitment in their personal life. And I think that's why you see a lot of these guys say, hey, I'm 30, I'm 31, and I've had 6, 7, 8 different jobs. Why? Because they know that you're not serious about making a commitment. And that's what I say is not fair. And you guys can look this up. How many men actually ask a woman to marry them in their lifetime in 2026? Google that one.
See the.
It's definitely interesting, because I think the younger or the sooner you get married, it's easier to venture on to a journey, like move house to house or apartment to another city. The younger you are, the more easier it is, and it's more adaptability, because you could be offered a job today where you're at, but then they can say, oh, he's so good, can we move him down to Tennessee?
Cool, see, let me go after you, or after DJ.
I want to go before you. Hold on. DJ, do you want to go?
Yeah, I'm just amused at all of these experts on relationships. I think people should stick to politics, quite frankly. But this is such a nuanced issue. It's cultural. I mean, there's sociological, physiological, philosophical, psychological issues. People go to residency programs and they don't want to get married until they're done. So they've done 2 residency programs and they're 35 years old. There are people who get married very young and pick jobs in retail where they could get a job doing anything in that space just about anywhere. I mean, it's just the convergence of the career and marriage is just kind of fascinating to hear this discourse. The expertise on, marriage and love. Most people probably...
It looks like Vader from Mars.
Practical reasons. It's just so interesting. I think the key element is: have you been to therapy? Have you worked on yourself?
Like Trevor
Are you open and flexible? Have you done the work to heal childhood traumas? And then when you get into a relationship, find a healthy relationship.
Alistair, they're fucking Crowley.
Hello?
Have you guys ever seen Alistair? Hold on.
No, I've never read Aleister Crowley before in my life.
Oh, bro.
Smart they are. Their experience is better than the lived experience of others, or it's more compelling. It's just so fascinating.
Hold on a second. We never said we were experts. You know.
No. But I'm hearing from certain people expertise in their voices, right? And maybe they don't claim expertise. Maybe they don't claim expertise, and maybe I jumped the gun in saying that. But I think that relationships are so different. But the one thing that I think people find out is if they've worked on themselves and are more self-aware, and they don't come up from a place of judgment and criticism, they're open and flexible. Cool C said one thing that was, I think, poignant was the flexibility is a key element. But there are so many things that drive people. There are so many careers that people can only take on roles in certain regions of the country, or the quality of life, there's so many frigging issues to consider that to kind of pigeonhole any one type of relationship or one option or avenue, it's just kind of asinine. And I think one of the other things that people are finding is, the metric here seems to be that marriage is so indicative of success in the relationship, when in fact you'll feel a lot of people in dysfunctional relationships who are married for perhaps the wrong reasons and perhaps the reasons they need, whether it's financial or whatever. But love is probably lower on the list, and to be presumptuous about other people's relationships, I find interesting. That's my opinion. You can take it or leave it.
Well, so DJ,
I never said.
I was actually bringing this up earlier because I was avoiding really giving any. I was under the impression that when it comes to personality traits and just how very different people are, my personal opinion, just from what I heard from experts, amazing. So that from actually listening to, I've been bored and listening to psychologists and stuff, talk about this shit, but like perhaps things that, I'd say for psychological reasons, that's probably might even play the biggest part in why some relationships are healthy and some aren't. Maybe you agree. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you look, hold on one second. I think that if you look at the 12-step, if you look at recovery, for example, years ago I went to Codependence Anonymous because I came from a dysfunctional family. And what I found fascinating for people in recovery, whether they're in who's ever gone through the 12 steps, right? Again, I'm not saying that's for everybody, but what was interesting is those people were less inclined to be so hungry to be in a marriage because they worked on themselves so that they built up their self-esteem. They mitigated codependency. They were interdependent, likely not codependent or counterdependent in relationship and their attachment to people. And so they don't look at the marriage as the metric of success. And I think maybe generations ago that made sense, where dependency was largely dictated by finances in many ways. But I think the beauty of people working on themselves is that they build enough self-esteem that a relationship is a bonus, but it's not a necessity. And hey, I'm a hopeless romantic. I love being in relationships. But I also find it interesting, my siblings, and I'll land on this personal note, my siblings are both married to people very early. They're still together. I can't tell you how healthy their relationships are or aren't. One is probably healthier than the other, and one of them is probably quite in love with their partner. But, I feel like, wow, in some ways they missed out on the opportunity to learn from all the relationships that other people who weren't married early got. So the grass might be always greener, but I think that to suggest that marriage is kind of the metric, or that you have to get married, or
we never said that.
Okay, maybe I missed part of that.
So
Go ahead.
I have a question, DJ. I just want to ask you a question because you actually came in and you said something that we're not quite positive, okay? And I'm using that term based on what you said. So I come from a family of married people, okay? And my dad was married 58 years. My grandpa was married 49 years. And yes, they were happy people. And yes, they had happy marriages. Okay, I love when people say, well, they're together. No, guys, there are people out here that working together because, and I'm going to say this to you, DJ, how can two people walk together unless they agree? There's no outside psychologist or therapist working inside the house of two people. How much therapy you go on? You still got to go home to that person. You have to work everything out with that person. That's what people celebrate, how they work out with their person. Okay? I've never done 12 steps. So you know why? I've never taken alcohol in my life. I've never smoked a cigarette. Never done a drug. And my wife and I met each other in youth group. And you know what we're not doing? We're not trying to be dysfunctional. We're trying to be functional. And when things come up and issues come up, you know what we do, DJ? We work on them together.
And so, I know that you think you have all the answers. You interrupt me.
Okay, hold on, DJ.
You work with dead people. You work with dead people, right?
Okay. So now you can be dead in the audience, okay? Since you want to talk like that, be dead in the audience, okay? So, guys, this is what I want everybody to hear. You can't come up here and think that just because you have an opinion, that your opinion is number one. Other people do have opinions. I'm not telling you my opinion because I'm not married to or anybody in your family. And I don't do 12 steps. I did one. But yeah, I got it, DJ. Because you know what you want to do is come here and tell us that we're all wrong, we're all negative, and no, we don't have all the answers. You're correct, we don't. I don't have the answer. You don't have the answer for one woman who has my last name. That's it.
And
so for us to believe,
there's a reason. Now you're going to throw me down, so I'll just wait until you throw me down. But actually, I'll talk till you throw me down.
We don't want to throw you down, though.
Well, hold on. Yeah. I'll bring him up. Just let Edward finish, and then I'll bring you up.
Okay. So all I'm saying is, I'm not talking against DJ or anyone else. Okay. I don't have any answers, DJ. You don't know me. You never met me in your life. You hear something, and that's how you hear it. Okay? So let's all be very careful, because I hear all of you guys talk, but you know what I never do? I never take anything you guys say personally. I don't own any of it. The message you guys all have, those are your experiences and it's so sad that when someone else has something other than what you believe, that's the sad part. Okay? I never take anything. You guys talk about all kinds of stuff, and I never take it personally. But when Mr. Edwards speaks, you think you know everything. You're being kind of sick. No, you're listening through your own lenses, and you guys need to stop that.
Thanks.
Everyone, we're all adults, and I would like for people
Mr. Edward. I appreciate that. We have some new people on the stage. Pascali, we have Infinite, and we have Coke. We have Chris too. Chris is on the phone.
I agree. We gotta let DJ respond, obviously. Let him get it out. But let's not get personal.
Yeah.
Let's just keep it really above.
So I apologize to Edward if I was offensive. I think that what's triggering is to hear someone say, and hey, God bless Edward, but, you know, my family's been married. I'm the only one in my particular family who is not married. And I find it fascinating, though, that this notion of marriage and part of the problem is that we don't realize how unhappily married many people are. That's a problem. That's like an epidemic issue. But another thing is to kind of to be dismissive of 12-step. Everybody should be in therapy. Everybody should be in 12-step. It's not about pathology. It's about learning from institutions that have demonstrated empirically that they know what they're talking about and they've helped people. There is no way that people can get to this point. It's very rare that someone can find the kind of happiness and wellness doing it on their own. I mean, that to me, I don't want to say I find objectionable, but that is so rare that it's fascinating to hear anyone say that. Now, maybe Edward doesn't feel that, you know, there are different avenues to finding success in life, but most people, by and large, need outside coaching or help. They're wizards if they can come up with it on their own.
Okay, we're gonna go to some new voices. Hold on. You'll see. Hold on.
So
let's open the stage up. Who else wants? DJ, are you done?
Can I just say one more? I just want to say one other thing. The other thing, though, that I do take issue with is that people are lucky if they're so goddamn well-adjusted that they don't need any therapy or any outside help. Now, in the Jewish community, where we've had a lot of generational trauma, most people embrace therapy. No, I don't care how fucking successful they are, they know that that's a resource that is out there that's to be taken advantage of. Now, people like to sit here and pedestalize Jews often enough and say, why are they so fucking successful? Well, maybe one reason that they find success is because they don't think they fucking know everything. So when I come in here in the spaces and hear people project and play like they know everything, it's really off-putting. And I'll land there before I get more.
We never once said that, DJ. And I never once said anything about. Not everybody.
I think everybody just offered their opinion. I don't know. Dr. Jordan, you're coming in kind of hot tonight. Everything okay?
I am a little bit, because I sense that people have this. Not everyone in this room, but some people in this room have this kind of, I know better than you. Like, for example, I would never tell Bima what I think. Like, someone should tell her they should get married, or they should. She admitted that she may have made some mistakes, but the first.
She wanted to know. She wanted to.
The first.
So we were suggesting.
Thank you, Coolsey. The clue to me is to kind of know your boundaries. And even if you offer to help someone, you do it in a way that is not coming from a place of, I know better than you. And maybe people didn't feel that way. That's how I took it.
Okay.
Maybe that says something about my insecurity. I'm willing to open it up. And, you know, I'm a fucking constant work in progress.
No, I know you are, DJ.
And so that's why it drives me crazy.
You don't have to be.
I got it. I don't think you. Wait, first of all, I don't think anybody here is saying they're perfect people. We are all flawed people. If you think differently, come off mic and tell me right now that you're not a flawed person.
I am not a flawed.
There you go. I was going to say, Bima. Okay. I don't know if we want to open up to new people. Bima, your name was mentioned there. I don't know if you want to clear anything up. I don't know if you want to get involved in this, but
Can I respond before these? May I respond?
Okay, go ahead. Yes.
So this is quite interesting that people today believe that there's not confident people. everybody's not crashing out in life, guys. Everybody's not choosing destructive living. That's not how life operates. Guys, I'm trying to share with you something, and if you don't want to look at success, it's okay. No one's asked you guys to adopt Edward's philosophy or ideology. You got to choose your own life. Walk your own order. I don't know why we continue to think that when Edward speaks, it's quite interesting that everyone decides that Edward is trying to project, even though I just got a whole lot of projection. Okay? And for you to even say that I cannot say something to my friend Dima or to anyone else that I know tells me that you, DJ, are the one projecting. I never came and said anybody's name in this room when I was speaking. Not once. Because when Edward speaks, he speaks a lot in the third person. So go back and listen to Edward. And the reason why he does that is because Edward don't want to give other people projection. Edward's just telling you how he's living. That's all Edward's doing. I like.
Okay, now can we open the floor? I think we're just going to go back and forth too much on that part. Bertie, were you done? I forget if we. Oh, you. I don't know if you wanted to ask something of Bima now that she's off the phone. I don't know if you want to do that. And
we pretty much said what I was going to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to jump into the whole situation with DJ. We have different opinions, and that's fine. Edward said a sufficient amount of information towards that, so I'm going to listen and then I might chime in later. Okay.
All right, the floor is open. I don't know if anybody wants to grab something they heard and run with it. Otherwise, I don't know.
Wait, I have a question for Edward.
What's that, Bima?
Did you hear what I said, Bertie, or Rima, whatever, earlier?
Yeah, I said what you said.
Your phone call?
To respond to, so.
Oh, I did.
I mean-
I did answer the phone call. See, I didn't hear what you said.
I was trying to just say, I mean, I was giving you some advice, but that's up to you to use it however you want it. I was going to say, your future depends on you, and basically, when you get older, you may want someone to take care of you. You may want to have your own kids, and you may want to do some of those things. So at the moment, it was a different conversation I was having there before you got that phone call with you were trying to. But I said maybe you should step up and ask him, and if you're really committed to him and you really love him and don't know if you guys can have kids or if you ever will, and I don't know how long you've been with them, but if it's something that you really care about, maybe stepping up and trying to, because one day, like, who's going to take care of you when you get that old and then maybe in the nursing home or whatnot? We're all going to die one day. Who's going to help?
Bima, I am curious. I don't know if he's still talking or if he's roboting or if he's
to
being.
live the rest of your life if he's not going to commit to you.
Who was speaking there? Go ahead. Who's that?
Sorry, that was me. I didn't know that
Bertie.
Lucy was still talking. It kind of went a little on my head. But no, I was gonna say, Bima. I guess I'm just curious. Like, let's say hypothetically, you go to him and say, "Hey, I've been thinking more, and I think I want us to be married. Can we have the conversation at some point?" And he responds to you, says, "Hey, I actually am not interested in marriage at all. I don't feel like putting on a label, and I don't feel like that we need to go through that commitment because things are good right now." What would be your response to that in that moment?
Oh, I wouldn't. At this stage, he's gone. Like, no problem. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's not, and that's why I appreciate what DJ was saying, because it's just more complex than that. He's never said to me, like, "Will you be my wife?" in those words. No, he's never said that to me.
But you told people you were married.
Right. And honestly, I mean, I don't know how much he actually does that. I don't know. This is, sometimes he'll say that to me. He says, he does say that, "I want to be married to you." He does say that. He's like, "I do want to get married." He said, "I just wanted you to have the best wedding, and I just want to get to a place where I can give you all that." So it's not like he's not saying that, you know.
Do you know what that?
How long have you been together, kind of, sort of? Like, have you been 5 years?
8 years.
Yeah, okay. So do you know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like someone who says, he wants to say, hey, I am the fastest person in the United States, but he never entered a track meet. It's like they're not willing to actually do the training and actually enter the race, but they want to claim the title.
Yeah. I didn't like that either. But he
what
did.
happens if you want your own kid to come and say, Grandma, your grandkid?
Well, I've talked to him about that too, and we've had discussions, and he said, I do want to have a family with you. And I'm like, well, you haven't, he didn't articulate that to me in the first few years of our relationship, and even him saying, like, I don't know. I asked him once early on, he said, I don't know. Now he'll say, yeah, I want to have kids with you, but, right now his job has him working. I haven't seen him for a really long time. He works out of state, so
That man has a whole second relationship and family. I'm gonna tell you right now.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. All right, listen. I've had to tell many women this. I know men because I'm a man. If that man, especially if he. Hold on, close on. Good. Go ahead, Chris. You're on. Go for it. So listen, especially if y'all had this like multiple year thing, and the beginning was like kind of like ducking the family thing, and then when you started saying like you wanted to be more serious, he's like, oh yeah, I do want this. And now your words, you said you ain't seen him in all this long time. He out of state, and especially if y'all ain't talking every day and all this or that, that man got a whole nother life. He probably married.
No, we talk every day. I would be interested to hear what people think, knowing like what's the possible frustration, or what would you say to somebody who you actually knew is working? Like, we're going to say that this is fact, that there is fact, that you've identified that he doesn't live a double life. He doesn't have another relationship. He is just dedicated to me, but also he's trying to create a job and a life for us to be able to be together every day in the future.
So why don't you move it?
I have a couple questions that will help me answer that question. I have maybe 2 or 3 questions that will help me answer that. One is, what does he do for work?
He drives trucks.
Okay, so he's a driver. Okay, so that gives an excuse to why he's gone, especially if he's working like OTR and he's 3 weeks gone, 1 week back. So when's the last time you seen him?
August of last year.
Woo! Ain't no truck driving job keep you on the road that long. Since last year. Sorry to tell you. So my little brother's a truck driver.
This is too painful. Bima, you're
It is.
smarter. You're smarter than most people.
Me and Herbert were having a conversation.
I don't care. I'm tired of it.
No, listen. You go back to a CODA meeting and let us finish our conversation, because when you are done talking, me and her are talking. Give us a second and then come back in, okay, sir? Thank you. So, my little brother is
smart enough to know that getting advice from
use your 12 steps and recognize when it's time to be quiet for a second. Come on now. I'm not asking for a bunch of time. Damn.
All right, you don't need to do the personal insults, though. Come on.
That wasn't a personal insult. It was me telling another.
No, you said the 12-step thing was a personal.
Yeah, you don't need. I've been in 12 steps too, so if it was a personal attack on him, it was one on myself.
Chris,
I wasn't there for cover, but
question. It sounds like
anyway.
Bima is consenting. It seems like she doesn't have to answer anything, obviously.
No, not at all.
Go ahead. Then get to that third question, and let's get forward. Yeah.
Well, no, I had asked the question already of how long you been away. She said August of last year. I said that is way
I won't even say out of the norm, is unless he's working out of the country, no job keeps you away for more than 3 weeks at a time. My little brother's an over-the-road truck driver himself, and he's home 1 week a month. And I also would say that if you were trying to get serious, that there are always local driving jobs like that he could get that will pay the same that he does over the road, especially if he's an owner-operator, especially in today's climate with all these new buildings that's going up and things that need to be short-hauled. He could find something if he really wanted to. He doesn't need to be gone. That's a want, especially if it was for, half a year. That's where I'm at. And I think you should look into that and, think about, honestly think about it.
He could take you on the road. I'm a truck driver myself. Right now, I'm driving a truck. He could take you on the road.
Yeah,
If
he's
you're not
offered that.
down.
Jose, he's offered that, and he's offered for me to go and go down there and pay for me to be down there, whether it's in like an apartment or an extended stay or whatever else. But I have duty here, and I can't leave right now.
So the real question is, do they have trucks where you live?
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, I'm in a state, and if you're a truck driver, I'm in a really bad state. So
What state?
But do they have trucks where you live? Where?
What state?
New York, and truck drivers, and they'll
Simon does it in New York.
They
but if you talk to owner-operators and truck drivers, they'll tell you that New York is hell and to stay away from it. They intentionally...
No. I work for a company right now out of Phelps, New York, that we hire owner-operators right now. They're making $6,000 a week, take home $3,000 a week, take home $4,000 a week as owner-operators a week. I'm a company driver. The owner-operators in my company are doing great. The owner-operators in my company are
Do you have to, in your company, if you have a CDL in another state, do you have to transfer your CDL to...
Like driver's license. You don't have to transfer your state driver's license to another state. That is a federal document. That is countrywide. It's actually more than countrywide, because if you got to use, there's a couple other little things you got to do. I don't think the right word is endorsements, but essentially an endorsement to even travel out of country, to driving to Mexico and driving to Canada and things like that.
You just need your passport.
Yeah.
So
he don't got a reason to not want to be nearby. And then there's also the option of you giving yourself maybe a longer commute, which might be a little bit of hardship on you, but going to say I'm a little more on the outskirt, and I might have to commute 45 minutes one way, but at least my man there. You know what I mean? And I think those are all options worth exploring with this man. But again, there's no way in hell that that you have not seen each other since August of last year to say that he ain't had a day off, that he ain't had a week off, that he ain't had no PTO, that he couldn't have made time for either you to take time off and come see him, or he took time off to come see you without his truck. There are such things as planes and rental cars.
Yeah, he's asked me many times to go, but I just don't.
But, okay, so you see, here's the thing. When you ask him and he already knows that you're going to say no, that's why he asked. I know this, and that I have asked women things before that I knew that the answer was going to be no. And it's because I really didn't want to go, and I didn't want it to happen. And I was like, I'm going to ask him this crazy stuff. And they go like,
but
no.
You're kind of saying how, you're kind of you're kind of projecting how you are onto other men. Where I'm trying to think of this on my head. He has kids.
Make a commitment. DJ,
Okay, hold on. Now he has kids, and I don't know how many, and with how many other women, or if it's just one other woman. I'm not going to ask. I don't know. It's hard to know. What are his financial obligations? Why is it that he's having to work from where he is? Where are his kids? There's so many things that I just don't know.
Pepe, I have been down bad. I've never not seen a woman that I was with for over a week, much less a year. I go to California often, and that's for me. It's almost 1,000-mile drive to where I go, and it's something I do often, and I have to budget and make that shit match. It's something that I make do because that's what men do. Men make do. If he wants to see you, he's gonna make do.
You need that snatch, don't you?
I don't know. I don't need anything because if I wanted to get something, I could, but I don't.
What state
I don't
is
sleep
he?
around.
Potentially, what state did she say he was driving in, or where is he driving?
He's down like in the Texas area, mostly.
Well, okay, so Texas is very good for trucking, and I understand that. Is he a company driver, owner op?
In between. That's what he's been working on. He's been working to eat.
1099?
No, he has a relationship with the person that he's working with now, and he's trying to create his own company and own.
It's only, I mean, yeah, you got to come up with the money for the truck and all that. But if he came up with the money for a truck in his LLC, which in New York or wherever he's going to create it, it's not that much. Where is his child at? What state is his child in?
Utah.
Oh,
So
that's
he's
where
not
I'm at.
even near his own child.
Yeah, right.
So he can't even commit to going up there and driving, or maybe he did drive up there, and he's just telling you he's in Texas. I don't know. It's one of those jobs you can take anywhere and everywhere. Like, I live in Pennsylvania. I see my wife every weekend. I've been doing this now, going on 5 years come August, September. I'm trying to get to owner-operator stage. He may have been doing it a lot longer than me. But it's a choice you make. And you could go wherever you want. It's just, if he doesn't, New York's not that bad. It's the Northeast that people hate. But like I said, the company I'm with, they're doing well. Company driver, it's okay. But they have like a milk division, a fuel division that's doing well. The company I'm with. So it just depends on what he's looking for.
And again, if he's with a renowned trucking company, he can easily get another trucking job without losing any money or without even losing any work. And
I think he's with a local person.
Yeah,
I think he's working with a local company.
All right. We do have new people on the stage, and Bima, thank you so much for accommodating all of the questions. But we have Coco Infinite just came up, Beaver's back. I think it's Cali and DJ's back up. So let's continue to talk about relationships and what makes relationship good. How do you make it work? And what have you done to make yours successful? And what do you think makes it successful?
I'd love to hear from Infinite. Infinite, are you, and Pascali, Infinite, are you in a relationship? If you've been in a relationship, how long have you been in a relationship? And are you married? Everyone. You can call me Callie, for short. But
We can barely hear you.
Oh, sorry. Is that better?
There you go.
Okay.
Yes.
So hi everyone. You guys can call me Callie. But yeah, I am in a relationship. I've been married for almost 20 years, and I have a little bit of experience, I guess, of keeping it right. I think what it entails is you do first have to know yourself to a certain degree. You're not going to know everything. And you're going to learn with the person. That's very important. To have patience, not be judgmental, and talk things through. Because you, at some given point in time, like, you're both going to make a mistake. But if you have that mutual respect for each other and you're able to, communicate with each other, even through the bad times, then you'll pretty much be able to work out anything. Respect, also making sure that you align with each other on certain things. Like, you may have a difference of opinion, but if you could figure out a way how to meet halfway, that definitely helps. And learning how to be emotionally regulated. Not be in a relationship and shut down or explode. Somebody tells you something that you don't necessarily want to hear in that moment, and to just trust the fact that your person has your best interest at heart at all times. That's like super important, because whenever that individual tells you something that you may not want to hear, at least you know that they're coming from a loving place, because they want both win. Like, you're on the same team, you're in it together. And yeah, I mean, there's just so much. There's so many different lessons that you learn along the way. I don't think it's a I don't think it's a cookie cutter way for all people. I think you have to go through it yourself and just kind of figure it out as you go along. I don't think that my way is going to work for everybody. I don't think that someone else's way would necessarily work for me. You just have to know you, and you have to know your person, and you guys have to make a plan and see what works for you and toggle it as you go along. So, I mean, that's ultimately my advice. And just try to learn from the people around you are in successful relationships, and just pick things that you pick things from other people's relationships that you like, and incorporate it into your own. And the things that you've seen not work for other people, just proceed with caution. It doesn't mean that what didn't work for someone else may not work for you. It's just like, take note of it and proceed with caution, and you'll make your own situation a success at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
And thank you for talking about adaptability. That's one thing that I have done for years. Every situation you have to adapt to. When you get children, now we're in the grandchildren stage. We're in daughter-in-law stage, son-in-law stage. It's a much different place to be in life, and it's all about adapting and adaptability. It takes a lot, but I appreciate you saying what you said. And one thing my wife and I always said, there's no issue bigger than us. We're not going to allow an issue to take us down, and that's what we work on every day. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the 20 years you got in. It's a beautiful thing.
No problem. Thank you guys for allowing me to speak in your space. Thank you for coming. Infinite, are you there? Do you have anything that you'd like to add?
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. Come on.
I really hope for the young lady the best, the 8-year relationship. I really do. I mean, it's hard. I don't know if that phone call you got earlier was him on the phone, but it's important for him at times if that is. But adaptability is the easiest thing for a trucker to do. You can go anywhere. And the possibilities are endless. It's just the desire to do what you want to do. And if he's built something down there, then that's the difference. So I really hope for you the best. Being a trucker myself and understanding it. Sometimes it's hard to leave something though. Like people have said, I need to switch jobs. It's hard because at the same time as a company driver, I know there's a constant check. I know what's going on right now at the moment. It may not be the greatest for me, but the reliability is there. The insurance is there. Certain aspects are there. And that's kind of what makes it hard to switch and change as well, I think.
Thank you, Kosi. I appreciate that. And I wanted to
Who would you speak? Go ahead, Callie.
I wanted to say something to Bima too. For what it's worth, like my advice to you would to really be to take into consideration what some of the guys tried to say to you.
hard basement.
Sorry, that's my house talking. But like I have 8 brothers, so like, you know, I've had a lot of experience with guys, and I think that some of the guys in the room were really giving you really, really sound advice. And, you know, I would consider it, not necessarily like, you know, fully act on it, but just be aware and mindful, and yeah, just take some of it into consideration. Because if a guy really is into you, he will make whatever changes or sacrifices to make it work, and to like be present, or to have you come out to see him, or whatever, you know what I mean? So like, I wish you the best as well, and I hope you make it work, you know? Thank you, Kelly. Yeah.
Now, one of the biggest things that I was surprised, you haven't had a
One second. Matt, so you said you have a whole range of
No. I'm saying I have a very diverse range, diverse range of topics for the, in this place. not that I have any topics to be had right now, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, one of the things one second, Bima. One of the things I like, as you said, let's talk relationships. And one of the things I've learned is, how do you have a relationship with yourself? Do you trust yourself? Do you make yourself a priority? Do you pursue your best interest for yourself? You know, these are kind of things that I think that a lot of people may not have ever done for themselves, because the biggest person you have to have a relationship with is the one you see in the mirror every day. And that's going to be the toughest one.
You don't think that's contradictory, though? Like, number one, I'm going to go out on a limb and say some people do not have the ability to trust themselves. They literally do not have the impulse control. People were mentioning, the 12-step program and addictions. I mean, there's a highly genetic component to that. Organically, there's organic brain differences that cause people to behave in certain ways, and I would even go out on a limb and say that it's impossible for people to trust themselves, even most people. And I think that also it seems like it's a little contradictory. It's like you put yourself first. I mean, I kind of get it, but there is a level of sacrifice you have to make, though, where I feel like if you truly, quote unquote, love somebody, you can't put yourself first.
Yeah, Pepe,
let me share this. Pepe, it says this very clearly. To love your neighbor as yourself. This is a principle. Okay? And I've learned this over time. I can no longer, in any area, love my wife or children if I don't love Edward. Edward has to like who he is and love who he is first and foremost. Because that's what I bring to my marriage. That's what I bring to my children, my grandchildren. This is what I've learned over time. And a lot of people, when you said they can't trust themselves, that's because they're not making proper decisions for themselves. You have to learn to be your best customer. Because if you're not your best customer, then how are you going to be a good customer to someone else? Like, and I'll end on this. This is what someone said a long time ago. They said, why would you go to a restaurant when the chef don't eat their own food?
Could I jump in? If I could, I know y'all.
DJ wanted to go.
I know y'all have a back and forth. I know what the veterinarian guy down there. I was just saying, can I jump in after a while?
I'll let you go. So all I want to say is this: and my wife and I have this. Okay, we're the best 2 single people on the planet. You know why? Because we believe that each person should be their priority. Instead of we try to change each other, we work on each other. Meaning that I work on me, my wife work on her. When we come together, we're bringing the best of each other to our relationship. To me, that's what makes it work.
I was just gonna say this. I agree wholeheartedly with a lot of stuff that you said, and I wish that I had that thought process when I was younger and I was married and I had my first child. I I didn't have that thought process. I was listening to my mother, I was listening to my grandmother, all these elderly women. And at one point in my life, I lost myself. I was just so focused on everybody else, the kids, the house, the husband, all this stuff. Never even looked at myself in the mirror. And one day I was like, who the fuck is this person? You know, and it's so easy to slip into that as a woman because the way I was raised, it was like, you do all the things, you keep the house, you keep the food, you fuck your husband whenever he wants. You know, you keep yourself together, keep makeup, keep hair, your glam, all of this. That shit is fucking exhausting, okay? And sometimes you will lose yourself because you will fall into a state of depression because you're so focused on taking care of everybody else besides yourself. Don't let you have elderly parents. Oh, put them in between the sandwich. So now you got the kids, your husband, your in-laws. Don't let his parents get sick. You know, it's just a lot of fucking pressure. That's one of the reasons why I'm hesitant about remarrying. It's a lot of work. I'm done speaking.
So, as I was going to mention, and thank you, Pepe, for sharing, you know, people charge clinical psychologists, psychiatrists often charge, $500 an hour actually here in Los Angeles, for example. And they do it because they're practicing a psychodynamic approach. They're not telling people what to do or what to think. They're helping them come to these decisions on their own, which is why it often takes quite some time. And I would offer that Bima knows probably the answer, but she needs to come to this decision on her own. But this notion of, why, people have to love themselves, blah, blah, blah. If it was so easy to just love yourself by telling someone you should just love yourself, we'd be putting therapists out of business, coaches out of business, people who are trained to help people get to these points. So I'm just shocked at the lack of insight into the empirical nature of helping people put their best foot forward and become their best selves. Now, people aren't as lucky as Edward and some of the other folks who may not have had any trauma in their youth, or they may have been just so smart to figure this all out on their own, whatever the case may be. I think by and large, people who have resources and are lucky enough to have those resources often invest in themselves. I think that the interesting thing about the Jewish conversations in these spaces, people wonder, why are some Jewish people, finding so much success? I also find it interesting that in the Jewish community, they're the most inclined to either become therapists or seek therapy themselves because they don't have the answers. They know they can't possibly have all the answers. So if you think that you're just going to become happy on your own or suddenly love yourself because you will get to that point, I don't know, that's probably unlikely. I'm sure that it happens, but the data doesn't, the research doesn't support that. And so because I'm science-based or evidence-based, I tend to lean on where the evidence takes us. I may be wrong in making that choice, but that's what I believe. Thanks.
Well, I do agree with you. I do think there's like a lot of doctrinaire prescriptions that are being put out there for like how to be happy or be successful. And the thing is, though, is I'm somebody who at least has some experience, working in mental health, and I realize, faith-based organizations or in religion, maybe it has somewhat of a therapeutic effect, depending. But they need psych hospitals and like kind of like you said, psychiatry and psychology. All of this would go out there. Or clinical psychology, that is, would all go out the window if it was just simple enough to just do some of the things that people are saying. And I do think that there are. I'll actually preface it this way. I think that you get well-rounded individuals psychologically. That yes, they can follow do a lot of these things that, like try to take care of themselves, be a good person, follow the Bible, all of that stuff. But the reality is, though, and I know this, just empirically, it's true. There is a good chunk of the population that is not going to be capable of being this healthy, well-rounded person because they were not born healthy and well-rounded. And the reality is that it's not even possible to make these people well-rounded. They are, and when I say well-rounded, in other words, it's like imagine you had to go to West Point or something like that. You have to be a perfect physical, and well, you have to be very smart, but you also have to have physically very healthy, and you can't have no mental health problems. You have to. They're basically you're getting educated to become an officer, and that you just have to be completely healthy. Most people are not eligible. I mean, most people aren't eligible. Only like 20 to 25% of America is eligible to even be enlisted in the United States Armed Forces because of certain behaviors, whether it's because they use drugs, whether it's because they've taken medication for ADHD, they take any fucking SSRI, they're overweight. There's a million things. We're not all the same.
What do you think about, going back to some of the research, looking at clergy, right? I think 30% of clergy surveyed were presumed to have pretty significant levels of narcissism, which isn't always a bad thing, right? But that kind of confidence to get up there and tell people, and I'm not knocking organized religion at all, but I know that most of my rabbis had more confidence than necessarily competence. Now, that's not true for all clergy. Some people are probably very competent, but the competency comes in telling them what they think they need, and there's no real substantive way of discerning whether or not there's a God in the first place. So it's a great place to lead people, and it often, but not always, draws people who are overconfident, and that's, narcissistic in its own right. I have my own narcissistic traits that I'll own up to, so I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that the beauty of working with people who have worked, like therapists are all typically in therapy themselves because they're working on empathy every day so that they can better treat their clients and they don't get burned out, right? So I guess the whole reason that I'm interested in even the conversation is because I think when you talk about relationships, there's nothing better than first working on yourself, which is what some people said. Edward alluded to it. Some other people alluded to it. Working on yourself is key. But you also get to a place where you're not going to necessarily be judgmental of other people for making whatever decisions they make. And I think Bima is really bright. And I think that, you can't, like, I remember, I'll land here, I remember needing to get out of a relationship with someone, and the therapist was never going to tell me, hey, you need to end this right now.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking.
Was the therapist a woman?
Yes, so the therapist.
No, she's not going to tell you that.
I had a male psychiatrist even when I first told him. When I first met my ex, he's
a woman's not going to tell you to leave another woman.
Okay,
Jesus Christ.
But anyways, no, it is. I was. And no offense to the other. I think they're well-intentioned men in this room. I get where they're coming from, and I don't think it was from a bad place. But I do understand. I can understand why Bima might be where she is, and I felt it was. I felt it would be personally inappropriate for me to tell her. And you know me, I have a big mouth, and I will run my fucking mouth. But I felt it was would be very inappropriate and not in my place to tell her what she should do with her man. I mean, that's why I just kept my mouth shut. I was like, no, you don't know everything, and quite frankly, just keep your mouth shut. That's highly personal, and
also Chris and cool, gave good advice, but the issue really isn't the guy figuring out the logistics of moving so that he can do trucking at a place that's more convenient for the relationship. Maybe he has attachment issues. I'm not a clinician. I'm just speculating here. Maybe he has some attachment issues. Has nothing to do with BEMA, but he's got to find something for him, find himself a little bit, and maybe they are ready for each other at some point. But he could figure out how to truck closer.
You cut out Dr. Just put it down.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I just want to ask this first question. Do you guys think that this right now is a therapy session?
Yes.
No.
No.
And I say yes because talk therapy is a thing. That's why I actually love Clubhouse. I haven't left the app because sometimes I talk on here. Sometimes I take my shit out on people. I trauma dump on people. And then I leave. And then I can leave.
This is way too toxic of a place to be. This is probably one of the worst places you could be. In fact, if you were in therapy, I'm not.
Probably.
And this is just a wild guess, but I can imagine with some individuals, they would probably tell you to cut out what you're doing on Clubhouse because it's bad.
That's totally true.
Well, this is an observation, and I hear you guys use the word judgment. We all make judgments every day, but you still have to observe. Okay, I don't know why we think this is because you judge something. We have to make what I call observational observances that we make judgments every day of each other. And my wife always asks, what is it that when you go here? And I said, babe, it's quite interesting. She hears you guys sometimes. And I said, you know what I learned?
I'm sorry to hear that.
What? What'd you start to hear?
That your wife hears us sometimes.
Oh, she does, Monica.
That's cool.
And you know what she said? She said, now I know why, because you learn how not to live. Because you know what? I have to make observation.
My ex-boyfriend, he hates Clubhouse. He hated me to get on here. He hated it.
And now he's your ex. I know.
Monica, so your piece, this is one of the things I've learned, okay? We had this conversation earlier today, that people do not really self-govern themselves to the point where they think someone's coming to their rescue. And even like Pepe said, Pepe has no hope in the human race. I do. I believe that when people decide that they're going to change, they will change. They have to decide.
No, I didn't lose hope in the human race. I said that with certain people, I'm realistic. Look, I will never be. Think of somebody who's an intellectual like Thomas Sowell. I was not born with this brain. I'll never be as smart as him. I can try all I want. I'll never be, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'll never. Not blessed. But just like when there's things with all kinds, when it comes to personalities and being prone to being an addict or having certain mental health issues or personality traits, that is part of the what makes us unique. And it's I think maybe why I am so hesitant when I hear people give. I think a lot of the advice, for example, that you give might be good for a good chunk of people, but I think that it's not necessarily going to apply to the people that have deficits in certain areas.
But see, Pepe, so Pepe, listen to this. I want you to hear yourself, okay? I'm saying to you, somebody got a hot mic. DJ, got a hot mic, DJ. So one of the things I say, Pepe, is that if people work on their own relationship with themselves and learn how they operate, I think things begin to change. When you make better choices, okay? When you decide that you're not gonna, some people do it. They go and stop smoking.
Thanks for the invite, man.
Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, so I'm not in the recovery community because I don't do drugs, I don't drink. It doesn't make me better than anybody else. I did mention the 12-step thing, which I thought was helpful, but I want to follow up with what Edward just said. There's a reason that there are terms like egosyntonic and ego-dystonic. There are people who do not know that what they are doing, they are not self-aware, or their values do not align with their behavior, and that is part of their pathology. And quite frankly, that's a lot of people out there. Donald Trump would be a good example of someone who is ego-dystonic. He has no idea. He doesn't think there's anything possibly remotely wrong with him, and maybe there's not something horribly wrong with him, but he doesn't see any disparity between his alignment with how he values himself, sees himself, and how he behaves. It's all good and fine to, I think Edward is aspirational, and I think those are good thoughts, but again, this is why, people are really lucky if they don't have any trauma from their childhood that needs to be addressed in any way. And trauma doesn't have to be huge, but whether you're being reparented or you're working with a coach or a therapist, whatever it may be. I think everybody can continue. I can't think of a person on this planet who can't be working on themselves. I guess presumably by themselves is a lot harder to do, or with the help of someone else, kind of an objective bystander, whether they're credentialed or not. But what I wanted to say, and I'll just land here, this is why I tend to like people who come out of this recovery community. I was telling this to a friend the other day, is that, God, because they stop judging themselves and stop judging other people, they're much more beautiful souls for me to be around, right? Like, I like the people who have really worked on themselves because it's a whole different kind of engagement. And so that's not to say that you can't be a beautiful soul if you haven't had these challenges, but by and large, to me, the most beautiful people on the planet are the ones who struggled and transformed in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't make them better. It just makes their journey different. And
I agree, but there's very specific things like I can think of. So it seems like you know a bit about narcissism. Now, if you have, let's say you have NPD, you are you pretty much take all of the traits to a severe degree. I've listened to psychologists talk about this. They can help you. Are you going to be a person that is not where these traits don't come out and where it's not going to make you a very difficult person to be with? No. Borderline personality disorder, something very similar. Antisocial personality disorder.
Pepe, do you mind catching me up to speed? I'm so sorry.
Hold on, Rob. You just came in, dude. You're interrupting.
No, I know, but I'm just asking.
We're talking about, if giving general advice and about having healthy relationships, and there's a little bit of a discussion going on beyond,
how we approach that. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And so I just named like 3 cluster B personality disorders, which are you can look this up. Cluster B personality disorders in relationships. You'll get a million fucking Google responses. These are disorders that are they wreak havoc. These are lifelong conditions. They don't just simply go away. Even with lots of treatment, they don't go away. You learn how to cope with them. But with antisocial personality disorder and to somewhat of a lesser extent, narcissistic personality disorder, you can work through it a bit. And then you have things that aren't necessarily dying. For example, a clinical psychopath. There's not an actual 5 diagnosis for these people. However, these are people that you have 2 types of empathy. It's cognitive and emotional empathy. Cognitive means like, ow, you stubbed your toe. I know that must hurt. emotional empathy is like, ooh, you like kind of flinch because you're like, oh, that must have hurt. You kind of feel it, like emotionally that impacts you.
Right.
There are
So,
people
so
that-
who would you be speaking to?
Jesus Christ, Brock, it's happy hour started early for you. And so these are people who, by the way, their brains are different. They literally cannot. They cannot feel empathy for other people, at least emotionally. There's nothing. There's no therapy. There's no treatment. There's no drugs to treat that.
Are the two things synonymous, Pepe?
No, hold on 1 second. That's it. Let me ask you this question. Because you talk about all this disorders and stuff. How do you approach people in relationship to have that conversation?
But we're talking about people. You can't. What I'm trying to tell you is that you can't give general advice on how to have a healthy relationship to these people because they were born incapable of it.
I know, but I'm saying, if you met a woman, right? How would you approach that situation?
That issue, yeah.
Oh, so you're not going to always be able to tell it right off the bat. There's some very interesting things. So first of all, it's kind of inappropriate to ask off the bat. But
I have one question,
guys.
Hello, can you hear me?
Shut the fuck up.
I have a question. I have one question. India is good in soft power. India is good in hard power.
Sean, we're happy to have you, but one, we can't understand what you said, and two, somebody was speaking. Could you just give us a second? Go ahead.
So I would say this: so if you were to meet somebody with, let's just say that the 3 disorders I spoke about, all right, so they tend to be like out the gate, especially narcissistic personality disorder and borderline personality disorder. These are two groups of people where these people are going. It's called like the love bombing, like a super honeymoon. These people are going to seem to connect with you more intensely than anybody you've ever met. They'll be extremely thoughtful. They really are. Probably you'd be like, oh my God, how do I deserve such a fucking person? Because they're going to be so great to you. But then that will change anywhere from weeks to months later, where they become a fucking nightmare. Now, you're generally not going to notice these people have such a disorder or traits of a disorder, until you kind of start.
Wait, I'm so sorry, Pepe.
Oh my God.
So sorry. Oh my.
So, it's one of those things where you often are not going to know. And now, would a clinical psychologist or somebody like that pick up on what they think is some off behavior? Yeah, I'm sure a lot of them would. But us everyday folks, I don't know. And you often, when somebody's so great to you, like a narcissist or somebody who has borderline personality disorder, is going to be. You want it to be true. Like, you don't want to think like, oh no, this bitch is just. And a lot of people think they're being intentionally manipulative. It's actually somewhat more subconscious.
So, Pepe, how do you think we parse that out? How do we differentiate the people who are love bombing us and they have a narcissistic personality disorder or traits versus people who actually have lived their entire life and fell in love for the first time and are love bombing you because they're truly in love?
Well, look, there's psychologists you can I would defer you to them, like on YouTube, they'll talk about that exact topic. There's so many videos about that. But if it seems unreasonable or over the top, generally healthy relationships. This is speaking with healthy people. Healthy people tend not to start a relationship with a big bang. So like they're not going to just like. I guess in other words, it's an atypical reaction to meet somebody and just be like head over heels in love with them right away. That's a normal, healthy behavior.
Well, I didn't get to hear you when I came off mic because I'm on my Bluetooth. But go ahead, Wallace. I apologize. Thank you for pointing that out for me.
Go ahead, Wallace.
Oh, I have nothing to say. I'm enjoying this. No, I was going to ask Pepe though if those first two things he mentioned, if they're always together, or do you find those two things, the narcissism, and then I guess it was you called it a type of personality disorder.
Or borderline, and then there's antisocial.
There was the first one you mentioned, so I was wondering if those two things are always like linked or
they're cluster
connected.
B. They're cluster B personality disorder. So in other words, if they're in the same cluster, shut your fucking mouth. So they there's a lot of overlap. So especially people with antisocial personality disorder, they're far more. I've heard, which it's loosely you can translate them to being sociopaths. It's almost a given that they'll be narcissistic. So, especially with those two, but not every narcissist is a sociopath.
Okay, and that's what I was looking for. If it's you said thank you.
Oh, I apologize. Yeah, Ishan, go ahead. Go ahead. What did you have to say?
They were going to try to
So USA is good partner of India in a strategic way. So despite having that kind of a strategic relationship with the USA, in the context of Iran and the USA warfare, USA invited Pakistan to intervene and to play a role of mediation.
Yeah, we're not talking about that.
Yeah, buddy. Read the title.
He gets it. Isan, we're very grateful to have you here. We would love, this actually sounds very interesting, and I would love to hear more. Would you be willing to come back when we're talking about that? Right now we're talking about relationships.
So you are talking about the types of personality, like a Machiavellian personality, narcissist personality, right?
Yes.
So in my opinion, we should not manipulate anyone. So all these types of personality are leaned towards manipulation. We should promote healing.
I can't even understand you. They lean towards what?
Just speak a little slower for us. I apologize.
I am saying that all these are the type of personality leaned towards manipulation. If there is a thing of a healthy relationship, we should focus on the emotions. We should focus on to become emotionally intelligent. We should not promote manipulation.
Yes, I agree. We should not promote manipulation. We should not promote manipulation.
But a lot of these manipulations that these people have are not intentional. Like, a lot of people don't realize that. Like, some of these people, they actually have a cognitive. They have a cognitively impaired brain. Like, for example, people with borderline personality disorder, they do things that you're going to say. For example, gaslighting. That is something that is notorious with narcissistic and borderline people. People that are borderline, for example, they do it subconsciously. These people they have a way where their brain puts things in an all good or all bad basket, where you can do 100 things right, but you do one thing wrong, and then their brain puts you into this all bad basket. They can't look at you as who you are. It's literally.
I don't think you understood what you're trying to say.
Yeah, but those are my fights. So this is one of the areas. Guys, correct me. How many people do you actually have in your life like this? They always tell us that the closest 5 people to you is what molds your life.
But we're talking about the average population, though. That's the difference.
I know, but what's that?
He's talking about my partner.
No, hold on. You keep saying we're talking about the average population. I'm not bumping into these people. Okay? The average population I deal with every day. You know why? Because they have a death. They come in, and I have to navigate with them.
That's different from having an in intimate relationships is where you tend to really butt heads with these people.
Pepe, I understand Pepe, but Pepe, the way you're talking is that all of us are actually having encounters with these people every day. And I would just like to ask the stage, if you guys want to put a poll together, is this actually happening in your life? Are you meeting these, what we call narcissistic people, people with no empathy? Are we actually really meeting these type of people? Because again, if that's what's happening, you guys are enlightening me. Because I don't know what zip code you guys live in, but Florida is full of them.
We're just talking about different types of relationships.
Yeah, I was having to draw from like examples that I knew off of the top of my head, which are they're not uncommon, but you know, I don't know what it's under 10% of the people in America that would have those cluster B personality disorders. As far as their traits, maybe it would go over 10%, but then there's a bunch of other different issues. We can look at addiction, which would be a much bigger one. We can look at there's basically so many things where that's where I just like this. Any cookie cutter advice, I start to cringe, and I know I beat to death the whole like doctrinaire prescriptions for everything, because I feel like that is so fucking simplistic, and it is not something that works for everybody. I mean, really, it doesn't. Just like
I don't mean to keep interrupting, but is this an excuse not to talk about the topic?
No. But I'm just saying that, like, you can tell. Well, this advice, a lot of the advice that I'm, for example, hearing from Edward, I think would work for people who are their personality is more. They're healthy in many ways, but they're also more likely to be have a higher level of religiosity than others. And so, like, this advice works for those people. But the reality is, though, is that I feel like most people, we are all on such a fucking spectrum that I don't know.
I get it.
I don't think we can all take this advice.
It's like hitting a square peg in a round hole. I got it. We're all not going to have all the solutions and answers tonight, obviously. But we got to have a little more wiggle room to be able to have this conversation. When we start delving into personality disorders and type A, type B, type C, we'll never get a conversation going. This is good. I get where you're coming from. I don't know. I'm just trying to get
Matt, I apologize because I brought us here, but no, move on.
No, you're good, Wallace. You're fine. But I get where you're coming from. You're right about a lot of this stuff. If we all sit down with our future wife and husband and literally go through all this stuff with them prior to that, we would all have just perfect relationships, I suppose. But
But one thing Pepe says, and he uses this all the time. Okay, I don't know why we believe that the order of a foundation of principles that happen to be religious, like to love your wife and to love your enemy and to treat others kindly and forgive those who speak evil of you. I don't know why those principles don't resonate with other people, but they resonate with everyone.
No, they resonate with me. I think I'm just
Not with the people we're talking about.
No, they resonate with me. I just don't think that the ability for people to follow those principles, as a principled person, I think that is where there's a huge difference.
that could be true.
Okay, I know, but Pepe, hold on, guys. I hear what Pepe's saying. If we're going to follow principle, okay, we all know what hurt looks like. We know when we have said in our society that someone cheated on someone versus saying that someone did not keep their word. We don't do that. We're glossing over stuff, okay? We call it cheating. The scripture calls it adultery, okay? Scripture calls it having marriage. Yes, I do believe those principles. And I believe also that if we practice some of them, we would not have as much heartache that we actually do. Because I think those principles actually are going to build relationships with oneself. Because if I have self-destruction, that's what I'm breaking all of my relationships.
Let me use one example. Okay, so because I already know that your answer to this. Can you imagine? Just imagine. Do you think there's anything, even if you were not religious, that could compel you to rape and kill somebody? Do you think that you could be tempted by Satan to rape and kill somebody?
No, Pepe, it's not my motivation.
No, I get it, but this is the difference. There are people who literally get their jollies off by raping a woman, looking at her in the eyes, and terrorizing her, and then murdering her. They have that temptation, but hold on. They have a temptation and a drive to do something that the rest of us do not have to do. That's why they do it. Because normal, neurotypical people would never do such a fucking thing. Why do they do it?
Pepe, listen to me. There's 8.4 billion people on the planet. 8.4 billion. And I promise you, there's probably less than 200,000 of those people on the whole planet. But for you to focus on that and not focus on healthy, meaningful relationships, hold on, Pepe. Healthy, meaningful relationships. All of us make choices. Every single day. All of us. And all of us choose what's good for us. But correct me if I'm wrong, Pepe. How many of us actually choose what is good for us?
Can I interject here?
This is where we're getting
like toxic positivity. Like this is toxic positivity. A lot of the things you're saying, Edward, to Pepe right now, and this, you guys going back and forth. It's like, let's just dissociate. Like what I'm hearing from Pepe is he's like, okay, this is a concern in our society. And I know what you're talking about. There are individuals that do this, of course. I'm a woman. I understand that these type of men exist, right? And there's some women that are somewhere in that same range when it comes to abuse. They get off to it, right? So what I'm hearing from Pepe is he has a concern for this. That's what I'm just really hearing from him, and this is an issue in our society, right? But you're like combating that, like, why should we care about that? You should focus on your good relationships. Okay, let's just dissociate, right, from the problems in our society and only focus on the good and allow those people to drown, to just continue drowning. Like this is
Dude, this is kind of part of the point. This is why I'm purposely going to extreme examples of behavior, like somebody who likes to rape and kill. Like that's an anomaly when it comes to humans. However, when we start getting into transgressions that are more common, like adultery, once again, I'm going to say that the individual that is born, despite whether or not they were raised by a very, a religious, nice, good family, there are going to be people born that are going to be far more primed to be willing to commit adultery, to steal, to lie, to do all kinds of things. And I'm talking from major transgressions like rape and murder, all the way to the little ones like lying. This is a reality that we have, and this is where I don't. This is where like doctrinaire prescriptions for everything really fucking bother me, because life is not that simple. Like the golden rule, it sounds good. It's a principle you should live by, but we're pretending like people are all capable of. If everybody could live by the golden rule, our society would not have that much problems. But we do have problems, and we've never been a country. A society. There's never been a society without problems. Like people are very complicated, and they have a lot of issues.
Yeah, and Pepe, to add to that, I mean, not only have so many people been touched by this, many public intellectuals would say that these issues are of enormous concern, that they are infiltrating all aspects of society, not just at the very top, but that in Western culture, it is so epidemic that it is increasingly frightening to think that we aren't combating it. It is a huge problem. Everybody has been touched by this, and the funny thing is that like if you haven't been touched by this, that something is off because it's so common or you're not recognizing it. So I can't reiterate reiterate enough what Pepe has said. That this
Yeah, I know. You guys, Coco, Pepe, and you, I believe there's more abundance in the world. And I hear you guys. Listen, I come to Clubhouse, and it's not positive. There's no solutions. Everybody's been touched by negativity. But I think most of us realize that we choose it. Instead of you talking about positivity, hold on, Coco, seriously. You guys come up here as if though I am talking about something that's not available. It's just an option. If you guys don't want to choose it, don't choose it. But do not, under any circumstances, stop a person that likes to focus on the abundance of life and not the negativity of life. Yes, people do a lot of negative stuff. Yes, people go to therapy. Yes, people have bad things. Yes, people have trauma and all kinds of different things. Okay? But there are people on the planet that did not have that stuff. You guys want to say that, and thank you, DJ, because I let you say the ending. Well, if you did, I would think something's wrong with you. Why? Because this is what we frame everything with. As if though you yourself cannot wake up every day and look at what is good. And yes, you have the opportunity every day to also have bad days. The last I checked, I have a checkup from the neck up every single day. My attitude is my best strategy.
Well, and I want to say, I think more. Can I just say really quick? I just want to. I don't want to. I mean, Edward is uplifting, and I think Edward is unique, and not. And this isn't a negative. This isn't a pejorative. I think Edward is one of the few people on Clubhouse who is a success story and does believe in powerful, positive thinking. And I think that success is explained by that. But I do think that it would be unfair, and I apologize if I said I didn't mean to think that you were unusual and or something was wrong with you. I'm just saying, I think by and large, most people today have been touched by this. And I think maybe you have a strong personality and an adaptable personality where you know how to deal with this when you see it. But I would like to hear, I mean, maybe you don't encounter people like this, but I think you're a charismatic person, and maybe you thwart attempts by more dangerous people. You know how to, you're a people person. I don't know, maybe you could speak to that, but I know Coco wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, you can definitely focus on positive relations, abundance, positive relationships you have, whatever, while simultaneously recognizing, there's people being harmed. There's people, you got to be able to, especially if we're going to talk about like having a good attitude, right? When it comes to this stuff. Like, humbly, you have to be able to condemn and recognize harm and abuse that's happening. I don't think it's good to just, I don't know.
I know what you're saying. I
just don't like the way you're framing everything, and everything is coming back to the Bible, which honestly, you're trying to like push your ideas onto everybody. I know the last two things you said when you asked Pepe about why can't everybody believe in this? Sure, like you can believe in loving your neighbor, loving thyself, and all of these things, whatever. You don't have to believe in loving your enemy. We don't all have to believe in loving our enemy, especially with these people, right, that we, Pepe and DJ have been talking about. I would never turn to a woman who's been raped by, some psycho narcissist that's, been beat up by him and tell her, no, you need to love him. No, fuck that, Not everybody needs to, believe in this kind of stuff. I don't like when people do this shit. Everything doesn't go back to the Bible.
That part's kind of bothered me too. But I'm kind of glossing over that. But so Edward, admittedly, he comes from a very caring, loving family. A family with two his parents were married until old age. That's good. Now, here's where I have, as harsh as I am about the black community and a lot of their rhetoric here, there are black children who grow up with a single fucking mother, and this is, of course, these are going to be fringe cases where the mother will, and you can look this up. This is actually a thing that happens. I've seen it several times, on the news. The child is basically, they have a 4-year-old girl, 6-year-old girl, whatever. Yeah, we'll give you your drugs, but
What is Alabama nigger? I mean, black snake.
You guys have McDonald's in China, right?
McDonald's.
He doesn't believe in God yet.
That means not believe in God, or
Yeah.
not believe in any sort of.
Agnostic means they don't know. Atheist just means they make a definitive claim that they know there is no God. Well, at least when it comes to these, at least when it comes to these radical atheists in this room, like Cora.
Cora's not radical atheist.
Yes, she is.
Oh, she's.
You're talking about the Bible. It says about
Why do we define herself?
homosexuality and all this.
Well, yeah, she just because she doesn't like the Bible doesn't make her radical.
No, she's in it radical atheist for his whole day every day.
I don't think Bronze Age morality is appropriate to try and.
Yeah, see, radical atheist. There you go.
That doesn't necessarily make her a radical atheist. She is a positive atheist, but not
She's
sure.
in atheist rooms, modding every day, talking shit about Christianity. So she's a radical atheist.
I mean, just because you talk shit about Christianity doesn't make you an atheist.
She's also kind of Scotch-Irish.
No, she does.
You can't expect much.
Don't worry. This is what he does.
You can't expect much out of
You? Rich.
What? Yeah, Nargis, it's me.
Okay.
Click on Nargis. Click on my profile. You can read my bio.
Yeah, I just added you.
Oh, Rich.
Rich.
Yeah.
We're both Filipino. I understand. Right.
No, I'm not Filipino.
Hey, Rich, I just clicked on your profile. I'm a little confused. My cell phone just froze up, and now I can't use Clubhouse. What happened? Why is my phone frozen? I just clicked your profile to view your profile, and now my cell phone is frozen. What's going on? What is the code that you put in your profile? You put some kind of software code. Hello?
Yeah. And John, the guy Aleister Crowley, is the Michelin Jew. It means his dad is the Jew, but his mom's not. So the Jew, yeah, just like all the apostles. Well, you know how like all the apostles are Jews and they followed Christ, they became Christians because they're Christ followers. It's the same thing. So all the Jews are waiting on a Messiah to still show up. They're like, hey, the Messiah hasn't came yet. Jesus isn't the Messiah. I'm a Jew who decided, hey, Jesus is the Messiah.
It's just like your opinion. The truth is that Mashiach is now. Mashiach now. And we don't have to wait anymore because Mashiach is now. Mashiach is now. And we don't have to wait anymore.
John, can you dig it? Oh, he's done it. He dang it.
Mashiach now, and we don't have to wait anymore.
Don't get to be on stage if you ring the damn bell.
Or click on my profile and read my bio. It has the word rules. Oh, welcome. Nice to meet you. I'll add you. But I'm not Filipino. I'm Jewish, white, blood Christian by faith. I'm ethnically Jewish and I'm religiously Christian. Yeah, I did add you. Don't click on my profile. You did. Oh, she clicked on my profile. Dang it. It'll lock up your phone. You just gotta clear the app like 3 times. And then come back in. Sorry, man. Cora clicked on it. I told her not to click on it. Cora, I told you that. It's a glitch that I have in my phone. It's in my bio.
Pick me up.
I know, yes, it is hacking. Sorry, I hope. Yeah, you gotta be careful clicking on certain people's profiles.
I got it like when it first started.
Okay.
2020.
So May.
Pandemic, and you had to invite people, and I was thinking,
Wait, what? May, what ethnicity is your dad?
I think it's white, but.
Yeah, I don't talk to him. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if he's like German.
Some sort of white. No, like Polish. I don't know.
Polish, okay. But okay, if you guys click on the chat, there's that the fucking numbers or the letters and all that kind of shit, scribble scrabble shit. If you copy that and then you go into your bio and you clear your bio, make it blank, and then paste that into your bio and then hit done. It'll make your phone do the same thing like this. Well, then people can't do that. If anybody has an iPhone, like Cora, when she clicks on me to like move me to the audience or kick me out of the room, it freezes her phone.
Why would you want to do that?
Oh, because I can go into Muslim and Black Hebrew Israelite rooms and I can crash out and make fun of them. It is fucked up. Well, okay. Let me ask you a question. Do you think it's okay when the Black Hebrew Israelites are saying that they're going to take my kids and they're going to dash their heads against the rock?
Oh my God.
I'm justifying it. Okay. So the Black Hebrew Israelites. Okay. Does anybody think that it's justified for the Black Hebrew Israelites? Okay, cool. The Black Hebrew Israelites say that everybody who's not black or brown, Hispanic or Latino or any of this kind of shit are Edomites. They're from Esau and they're cursed people. And then when Black Jesus comes back, who looks like Wesley Snipes, they're going to get all like Super Saiyan powers like Dragon Ball Z. And they're going to fly around, shoot laser beams out of their eyes. And they're going to take all the white people and their babies, and they're going to smash the babies' heads against the rock. Then they're going to enslave the men, and they're going to rape all the white women. So these are the people that I go into their rooms, and I say, hey, you guys are a bunch of fucking retards. And then they say, hey, kick this guy. And they all click on my account, and all their funds freeze up. And then they can't kick me. Then they have to end up just closing the room. And sometimes there's like 1,000 people in the audience. So I get them to close the room for me. Unless somebody knows what they're doing.
If you had something to say that was genuinely from your heart, I don't think you would be speaking this.
What do you mean? Oh, they don't let people.
This room and speaking this instead of actually asking what the fuck you want.
So May, if you were to go in the room and you're like, I'm Filipino, they'd be like, oh my God, sister, you're one of us, you're a Hebrew Israelite. But then you're like, yeah, well, my dad's white. No, I know, but they would ask you. They'd be like, what are you? You'd say, my mom's Filipino, my dad's white. And they'd say, okay, well, you're an Edomite, you're from Esau, and we're going to kill you and we're going to rape you.
Then I exit the fucking conversation. You don't feed into that bullshit. So why are you bringing this bullshit into this room?
I put this in my bio.
Why are you bullshit into this room?
So here's the problem. Once you put it in your bio, you can't take it out.
Yes, you fucking can.
No, I can't. If I click on my profile right now.
What the fuck you talk about? What the fuck?
Oh, yeah, I get that. No, I get that. But I'm talking about the glitch. I couldn't go up there and have a genuine conversation. All they're going to scream and cuss. Yeah, I know. But it's fun.
I'm over this. Who else?
Yeah, go ahead, Nargis. Let's talk about the Muzzies.
Y'all know this man?
Let's talk about the. Okay, Benny, you want to talk about the Gnostic of free will?
Let's talk to Quran about Sunan Abi Dawud 47:17. Where Allah
yeah, let's do Gnostic free will.
Yeah, give me 5 minutes. Tisha, you can ask a question.
Okay, Quran, whatever your name is. How do you justify the Sunan Abi Dawud 47:17, where Allah says, for the woman who buries alive her newborn baby, the mother and the baby both go to hell?
What?
Sunan Abi Dawud 47:17. I can read it. Hold on. I got it open. Yeah, she thinks. Bro, she thinks I'm annoying with this shit.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, my wife was an NBI agent, which is the National Bureau of Investigation. She used to deal with the Moros, the Muslims, the MILF, the Moro Islamic Liberation Force. And she's seen fucking 40 soldiers in the Philippines dead with all their balls cut off and their penises stuffed in their mouth.
Wait, hold on. There's a Muslim group called the Mills?
Yeah, they're called the Mills. The Moro Islamic
Liberation
Force. Yeah. So, okay, let's read Sunan Abi Dawud 47:17. So, Sunan Abi Dawud 47:17, Amir reported the messenger of Allah, may peace be upon him, as saying, the woman who buries alive her newborn girl and the girl who is buried alive, both will go to hell. This tradition has been also been transmitted by Ibn Masud from the Prophet, may peace be upon him, to the same effect through a different chain of narrators. Grade Sahih al-Albani. Hold on. What did you say to the prophet again? If I did not hear it correctly, what did you say something?
I hope that you have an iPhone when I say this again. Amir reported to the messenger of Allah.
No, hold on. It's peace be upon him.
Sorry, I misread it. Sorry. So Amir reported to the
Don't do that. I don't intend to speak with you when you talk like this about
Okay. I'll leave out the parentheses.
No, you didn't.
I did say peace be upon him. Listen. So everything that Mikhail's gonna crash out. He's a Jamaican gay guy from Canada. He's gonna start screaming all kind of shit. But so Amir reported to the messenger of Allah as saying, the woman who buries alive her newborn girl and the girl who is buried, the newborn baby, is buried alive, both will go to hell. This tradition has also been transmitted by Ibn Masud from the Prophet to the same effect through a different chain of narrators. Grade Sahih al-Albani. Do you want me to share it in the chat? I'll share it in the chat. So you can read there.
Yeah, it's 47:14, correct?
47:17.
47:17. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, 47:17. Sunan Abi Dawud. I know that you're going to say that this is a tradition before the prophet, but this is specifically the prophet saying, which means this was after everything was revealed by Jibril. Oh, I'm asking May, why does Allah send babies to hellfire for the mother killing them? Do you think that's messed up? So May, imagine you have a daughter, and then you bury your daughter alive. Allah is saying that you and your baby, who did nothing wrong, are both going to hellfire.
By the way, that's not the only hadith that says that babies go to hell.
No, I know that.
There's another one where God designed babies to go to hell.
Yeah, well, it says he designed everyone to either accept him or not accept him. It's Calvinism. I tell the Muslims this all the time. It's Calvinism.
Oh, straight up.
It's determinism.
No, I get bubble.
All they're going to say is Allahu Alam means Allah, only Allah knows. Or they're going to say that this is a tradition before, which it was, but it specifically says that the prophet said these things. So that was after Jibril revealed himself to him, and he's reciting this. He's talking to his friends, saying, "This is what is going to happen."
Are you trying to understand, or are you trying to make a point?
No, I'm showing how Islam is false.
You're trying to make a point, okay?
Yeah, I'm making a point. I'm showing Islam's false. I'm just saying, like, if I was like an agnostic or atheist or a lost boy, and I was like, somebody was telling me about Islam, and somebody came to me and said, "Yo, read this," I'd be like, "What the fuck, bro? Like, their God sends newborn babies to hell. This is fucking wild. I'm not enjoying this."
Does Jesus, like, what did Jesus do refer to them?
Nobody click on the public picture.
Nobody click on his profile. Yeah.
But you don't have the fucking thing that I had my phone. He would be upset about my language, and he'd be upset about my disdain for Islam and Muslims. And he would say that I should be talking to them nicer. I agree.
Yeah.
But I also believe that I'm a sheepdog, and I gotta protect the flock. So when I'm debating Muslim starters, I'm not debating the Muslim. I'm actually speaking to the audience who's actually hearing it. So if there's like 500 people in the audience, and this dude has been talking to like 20 of them in the back channels and saying, "Hey, come to our like Quran reading," like now they're just not.
So, or did you post the hadith in the chat? Okay, let's take a look.
Also, please don't say that the translators translated wrong because they weren't.
Yeah, that's why because it's in direct contradiction to the Quran.
No, I agree. But the
How is it direct contradiction? Huh?
So because everybody has a chance, babies are innocent, all that blah blah. But the thing
No. How is it direct contradiction to the Quran? Do you know?
Because people aren't born with sin. They're not born sinful.
No, not necessarily. No.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, this is what you guys gripe about Christians.
Not necessarily. That's mentioned in the Quran. No, that's not mentioned in the Quran. Why is it in contradiction?
Whenever I say the Quran, I mean the Sunnah of Islam.
No, but I'm specifically talking.
Whenever the Sahaba's right, I have to accept if I'm going to agree.
Please go to the Quran.
Understand
the Quran more than like hadith or
I
something like that.
understand.
Somehow a little bit distorted.
Wait, how does that contradict the Quran? I'm curious.
It contradicts the Quran because with what their understanding of this hadith is, that with their understanding, which means that the girl who was buried alive and the mother who went through murdered her, and they're both going to go to hell.
Yep.
But that's their understanding, and this particular understanding, is in direct contradiction to the Quran.
Because you like
I guess what about the Quran is this direct?
Well, like the judgment.
You failed to mention.
It's in direct contradiction of the Quran, because Quran says no person will be burdened of a sin that they didn't do. Or everybody will be granted the deed of the even if it's a masjid steal.
Yeah, you're born with a slave.
No person is supposed to. Exactly. So everybody will bear their own burdens. So by that extension, this fetus rather, or this infant that was born and had no doings in being treated this way, it does not make sense that would go to hell. Therefore,
you just disregarded, right, Tron?
Therefore, the translation of the word.
No, hold on. But that's not a contradiction.
She's gonna.
Hold on. This is not a contradiction from a logical standpoint. Yes, they're born without burdens, but they're born without deeds either, right? So it's a blank slate. So if they're at zero, it's God's decision to, form in hell, because there's no.
It's also an innocent life taken. So I think the Quran
it's not necessarily an innocent life, because God knows,
zero is
what these people could have been up to.
No.
But dating has no dates, man.
Don't make
gaslighting.
Don't make the hadith.
You can say that, like taking up money.
Can I take? Listen, don't make.
I'm not an answer. Are you just gonna say that?
No, what do you mean I'm being logical? No.
There is no contradiction in what you're saying.
It is absolute contradiction. There are absolute contradiction. It's because no soul shall bear another soul's burden. Everybody's supposed to bear their own burden.
Okay, this hadith doesn't say that the buried infant was burdenful.
No. That's not what. No, it means no person will be wronged, unjust, or will be wronged in the hereafter.
Yeah,
this is absolute unjust and wrong, and she's unjustly wrong.
Wait, hold on. How is it unjust? I don't understand.
Because she had
a clean slate.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
what I'm saying. So how is she?
Okay, that means she has no. This means she has no sins nor deeds. So she's at zero. So if you put her on the scale of weighing her, I don't know, whatever moral dilemma.
So why would you propose hell? Why would you?
Women during battle, and you can make them your sex slaves.
Tito, calm down. Okay, one at a time. Calm down. Sit down, please do one at a time. This is ridiculous. You're now regurgitating. Stop regurgitating all that. Settle one first.
I'm just going to say, I don't see the contradiction.
That's correct.
I don't see the contradiction.
Bani Adam, it's a contradiction, because why would you not propose heaven for her? Why hell?
Well, that's God's decision.
Yeah,
she's at zero. She can do whatever
So why does she get to have hell when she's at zero? Why can't she get heaven?
Allah is actually.
That's a good question for God. It's not a contradiction. That's the point.
So hear me out.
Like you can ask God, when you get there.
So hear me out. The explanation.
God is Satan, that's why.
No, hold on. Hear me out. The explanation for the wal mawaddatu is wal maddatu fi nar. The one that ordered this doing is the one that's going to go to hell. The one that ordered this doing. So not the baby. It's not. It doesn't say baby. It doesn't say.
And the girl.
No, it doesn't say that. It says the person.
Do not do this. I know the Quran better, the Hadith, and I can translate it better than the fucking scholars. The woman who buries the reason the scholar wrote this is because this is what it means. The woman who buries alive her newborn girl and the girl who was buried alive, both will go to hell.
It doesn't mean what is that? Which okay? What word does that?
What plural or singular?
What
word did you relate to the baby girl? What word?
The woman who buries alive.
I'm asking you. You knew Arabic. You knew Arabic.
Listen, I don't have
What?
Arabic.
What Arabic word did you forget? Scholars. You just said. You just said
the hadith is
listen, you're telling me right now that
he's right. He's done
the
the
translation of the hadith.
He's right. That hadith says both. And
which
people have ran that argument. This is not the first time.
I'm asking him. He said he claimed he knew Arabic.
I'm asking right now.
I'm asking.
Tell her to be honest. Tell her the hadith is shit. That's all.
I'm asking
when
you.
It says the newborn.
I've heard this argument, Dr. Z. He's not lying about it.
Why are you speaking on his behalf? No, just let me ask him this. He said, hold on. T2. Okay, hold on. Are you going to just keep speaking over me because it's no? Okay, thank you. I'm asking you. You said you have very good knowledge of Arabic language.
No, I don't.
Let me finish my question to you. Okay, I thought you knew. I thought you said. I heard.
Let her talk.
I thought you said.
The scholars who translated this, the sheikh who translated this knows more than you. This is why he works in Saudi Arabia. This is why he transcribes or transliterates all these verses from Arabic into English, and he wrote that both will go to hell.
Okay,
I'm not
what?
Sit here and listen to like some lady on Clubhouse tell me that the scholars of Islam.
I'm asking you.
For 40 years.
Okay.
No less than this lady on Clubhouse.
Okay. I'm asking you.
Hold on. Technically, shouldn't even.
Shut up. I'm asking you. You're the one that engaged. Wanted to engage. You're the one that asked me the question. You wanna?
I'm not a Muslim. So
okay.
I'm not.
Tito,
I'm not.
Can you shut up for a second?
And shaitan. So listen.
No, you listen first. I'm asking you the question you asked about
Oh shit, this guy's on the other side.
Alright, Sidar, just move him down. So listen, I'm not, she left. But I'm not a Muslim. I'm not at fault if I'm talking to her. She is a Muslima. She's
instructed. You should allow Dr. Z to answer. You're not allowing Dr. Z to answer. Let her answer the question.
I'm asking you.
Why did you leave the room? Did you click on my profile?
No.
Yeah, I told you not to click on his profile.
I'm not clicking on nobody's profile. I'm asking him.
On his profile, I click your own.
I'm asking him how did he not use the scholar's brain. I want him to use his brain if he has any understanding about the hadith like he's claiming to let me know what word in Arabic did you associate with the baby girl.
You're not listening. Okay.
I'm asking you a question.
You're saying that it doesn't say baby girl.
I'm you a question. Give me
your question.
Don't answer me question, but asking me a question.
Don't be a jahil, seriously.
No, I'm asking you a question.
You're a woman, and that's what Allah says about you. I don't believe that. But listen.
Please don't do this.
Engage
honestly, and you know what? I know this.
I am trying to answer the question. But she's deficient in mind and she's not listening.
Okay, then shut the hell up then tell me
because she menstruates. That's what Allah.
Okay, yeah, we're deficient. You're the most efficient. So tell me efficiently. What is the word that you associate? Oh, he's just ranting. Like I don't even
let him rant and stop at some point, right? You can tackle. I know you're ranting.
So I'm trying to explain to you. You said what word in Arabic does it say, baby girl? Or a little girl.
Yeah.
Or baby. I'm telling you, I don't give a shit what you say.
Okay, then shut up then. If you can't deconstruct the hadith with me, then be quiet and sit down.
No, this is not making any sense.
If you cannot deconstruct the hadith with me in Arabic,
He's probably 70, 80 years old and been studying it since he was a baby.
Why is
he's not being an honest intellect.
He has like a doctorate. He's telling us in English that it says the newborn baby girl in both, and some ladies, some rando.
No, it doesn't say that. It says the one that ordered the killing of the baby. Yes, that's what it says. No, it doesn't say that. It says the other one. No, it doesn't. Nope, it doesn't say that.
Will go to hell.
It doesn't say. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that.
They pissed me upon him.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Narrators. Great Saki Albani.
Just
I can't click on his profile.
Just
what? It takes me out.
He's being completely disrespectful to our prophet.
Somebody like that, Rich. You didn't have a good argument.
Who the hell is he? Kick him out. My mom is getting angry. Me listening to this garbage, Bakwas.
Yeah.
Mom, because he's making. Somebody kick him out.
Because I know how to get around his.
Cora, thank you so much.
How do you get around that thing?
Yeah, how do you don't click through to his profile, just hold it till the contextual menu comes up.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, he was making good points.
Oh, he wasn't.
I mean, that's okay.
No, he wasn't.
Listen, I don't
arguments.
The thing
it's
is,
not
like,
new, this argument.
It's not new at all, but the thing is that, like, I don't even see why it's problematic.
Doesn't
God,
why you? Yeah, but that's not the God of the
Old
Quran.
Testament's in worse. No,
He's not a bad God in the Quran.
Wait, hold on. I mean,
He's a just God.
were there not innocent children in Sodom and Gomorrah?
There's also,
I mean, you're telling me two major cities did not have children?
That's Sodom and Gomorrah stories not the Bible, I think.
No, I know, yeah, there's more from the Bible. I agree with you on that, like the genocide of the Amalekites and the
only
God
one
clearly
you
doesn't.
could.
But
Only one you could from the Quran would be the Kitover story.
That one too, yeah. So clearly there's, I mean, Sodom and Gomorrah is the big one. You're talking about two major cities in the region as described, and completely being obliterated. Yeah, there would be children, must. So, including like potentially newborns, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's clearly, I don't know why this is problematic for Dr. Z. Yes,
it is problematic because
the Abrahamic God, as described by every tradition, does kill kids.
It is problematic because Quran says, and when the girl buried alive is asked for what sin she was killed. At-Takwir, it's 81:8 and 9. It says when the girl buried alive is asked for what sin she was killed. So, hello, Quran is in direct contradiction with this stupid understanding of the Hadith, which is not what it's saying.
Understanding of that? That's exactly what it's up.
No, it doesn't say that.
Dr. Z, my Arabic might not be the best, but I can read it.
Dr. Z, this is a very famous polemical argument they bring up, and it's true that the Hadith does talk about the child. So you could say the Hadith is true. You can just call it for all of us. But the thing is, you guys don't have the guts to do that.
Well, there are two things. There are two things. There are two things.
Something that is wrong.
Either the Hadith is problematic. Either the Hadith is problematic if the Hadith is in contradiction with the ayah, right? Or the Hadith is mistranslated.
You need to look at how the Hadith
is mistranslated.
Problematic.
It's not mistranslated.
It is mistranslated then.
No, it isn't.
Quiet.
On what basis are you saying it's
How
mistranslated?
many Hadiths will you call mistranslated?
Can you please read it to me in Arabic and tell me what's wrong about it?
Just call it
out. How's it mistranslated? Come on, we'll read it together.
Because the word that is... Huh?
Well, why don't you start? What word is problematic?
I don't hope it's not nice. You sound like true.
No, the problematic part is that the word mu'addada, I think mu'addada is translated as infant. Versus, does it mean the person who called for the burial, like the person who ordered it? So there's part of the translation it could possibly mean this, because it can't be the infant in the hellfire, because the Quran.
Well, it is. It can't be, but the Hadith is yes, the Hadith is wrong. Call out the Hadith, but you can't do it because it needs guts to do things like that. Call out Ibn Rishad, call out the technique. There's so many other ways in which like history has reached us. It doesn't have to be this particular way. Like live in the pursuit of truth. Call it out. Like that he does it. He has his own method. Why are you stuck with it?
No, I'm saying there could be two things. Any hadith that is in contradiction with the Quran is obviously discarded, right? That's my first rule.
This is why. What went wrong with the way they were marking this sahih? Why did they mark it sahih? Something is off with the technique.
Hold on. What is marked sahih? How do you know it's marked sahih?
Because it's a sahih hadith. You think that's the first time I'm hearing this polemical argument?
How is this a sahih hadith? It's not a.
Look it up in Bukhari, bro.
It's a Bukhari hadith?
Yeah, I think so. Muslim or Bukhari?
No.
Which one is it? I've heard this many times. You can either call out the one who narrated it, you can say that. I don't know. I really think Imam Rijal is a very problematic position. Do the usuli method, like rational method of aligning it with the Quran. If it doesn't align with the Quran, toss it out. That's how Shias do it. Like, use other people's techniques. People have figured out that.
What do you mean other people's technique? We know that anything that is in contradiction with the Quran
that's the usuli
is a problem. What did I say the first time I heard? Like, this understanding is in contradiction. I said.
So the Sunnis reject that method.
No. My hadith teacher taught me this, that any hadith that is in contradiction with the Quran has to be graded accordingly, even if it's mentioned
And the line.
It could be questioned, because if the hadith is in contradiction, then no, excuse me, we're not. This is a Shafi'i teacher, and he's not a Shia.
You know how important the chain is for Ilm Rijal? Why is it called the science of men? Because you're seeing the line of men that are transmitting it.
No, not necessarily. Sometimes there is a problematic.
I'm telling you the technique that is used.
Sometimes there's a problem. I know, but sometimes in the line, there could be a person whose memory is messed up, or who is known to have weak memory, or a character, questionable character, or if this person is not if this person is not even a Salaf or Tabi'in, he's someone 3-4 generation who heard from his dad, So you have to see exactly the source. Like, I know Ilm Rijal does that. That's the job for them to report accuracy, but it is what it is. Sometimes if it's in contradiction to the Quran, then you gotta take that as the main critique. Like, you gotta take that as the main argument, that this hadith is in contradiction with the Quran, because it is two ayahs I gave you that contradicts it. One ayah is the one that no other soul will bear another soul's burden, and then Allah asks the buried alive girls, what sin were they buried for? So those are verses in the Quran. What does that tell you? That tells you that this
okay, it is Abdullah ibn Mas'ud hadith. The woman who buries her baby girl alive and the girl who was buried alive are both in hellfire. Okay? So this is a very common polemical argument that most people use against hadith corpus. These are famous debates also happen.
Sunan Abi Dawud collects all sorts of hadith. They are not necessarily sahih. They are also